Modern Warfare's 6th season is on the way, and with that, we know of a large adjustment being made to Warzone. The introduction of the subway or metro system that we saw officially confirmed, firstly by the intro cinematic that debuted on Tuesday, and then later on by a blog post that came out yesterday, detailing a little bit of how everything will work out and how everything will be going down this upcoming Tuesday. Today, I wanted to dive into that information a little bit and let you know what you need to about Warzone's biggest change in a while. So that said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below on the system at hand. After hearing a bit about how it works, how do you feel about the upcoming subway system? And do you have any concerns, or maybe you're just excited for it? Let me know down below. And as well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course, Black Ops Cold War. The next few weeks are going to be incredibly busy and full of content that you won't want to miss, so stick it right here on the channel if you're new. But anyways, let's talk about the metro system. Like we mentioned, it was first initially teased in the cinematic that we got on Tuesday in relation to the first Season 6 teaser. This teaser showcased Farah as an operator, Nikolai as an operator, the AS Val, which we'll discuss a little bit more at length likely tomorrow or Sunday, and then also a little of the backstory, that we're hunting down Alcatala in the underbelly of Verdansk. Now that's all well and good and all, but it doesn't offer a ton of information as to how the metro system will work. It just kind of confirmed that it was gonna be there. But that's where last night's blog post over on the Activision's blog site came in handy. Here it detailed a ton of how things would work. In the blog entitled Warzone Mastery Verdansk Subway System or Metro, it details a little bit about what's to come and showcases us a handy little map of what's to come in terms of locations for these metro stations, plus gives us a little bit of information we should take into consideration while leading up to our first encounter in the metro. Now, as for the stations themselves, there were a few locations that have already been on the map since the launch of Warzone back in March, and a few others that are brand new. But it also details each of these locations and where you can expect to find them. Of course, those ones that were already there included around the Verdansk International Airport apartment complex out by Tovorsk block. There's one in downtown Tovorsk, but there are also others that are being introduced here within this update as well, including at Lozov Pass, at the Verdansk Stadium, which was actually our first teaser we ever knew of that this would be coming because of COD Champs. There's a little fly-through that gave us an indication here of this one. Also coming in the way of Verdansk train station and in Barakit shopping district. Now, those are the locations, but how this will actually work is interesting in and of itself. This is going to be a fast travel system as detailed by the blog post, which may mean it's instantaneous travel. And it's also multi-directional, meaning it's dependent upon whatever train car you end up boarding. Right now, unless I missed it, I don't think that it was detailed anywhere, but it may be dependent entirely on the right or left entry that you end up taking, because there are existing metro stations right now, again, that are blocked off with 2 points of entry, one left and one right. But that's not confirmed, and since there will be areas behind those doors that include ticket booths, employee break rooms, and other locations that will all have various loot around them, we don't know for certain until the, of course, update comes by and updates the map itself. So this is going to be somewhere definitely worth landing, regardless if you have nowhere else to go, and it actually may be a viable option for regular play rather than just traversing the map. But instantaneous travel, fast travel, that's what I'm definitely curious about here with this, and definitely changes maybe my perception on this, because you can just jump into the train and maybe 10 seconds later, you're at the next stop, which is halfway across the map. As for just jumping on the train, though, that's where it becomes a little bit different, because there are a few parameters that need to be met here in order for the train to even go in the first place. Two things that I didn't even think of whenever we first had the initial idea of a metro system coming was that of what would happen if the gas was closing in and it was closing in on specific locations for the metro that may be the next stop. And also, what about gunfights in the metro? Now, for the first one, as the gas, there's actually a gas bypass mechanism. So it's going to take into account the position of the zone whenever you end up getting on that train car. If it has to pass through the gas, it will go to the next available stop on that route that is not in the gas. So that means that even though you may be wanting to go somewhere else, it won't be accessible. But it's nice because, of course, that won't kill you then in the process. So to me, I guess this adds a little bit more longevity to the practicality of the feature, especially in a given game, because even though it spans the entire portion of the map, really, it is something that by maybe wave 2, 3, it wouldn't be available for use if there was no gas bypass feature. So that's definitely something that is nice here for a late game, still makes it viable. But also then, what about this gunfight system in place? Because an interesting turn of events here is that if there's a firefight on or near the train platform, the train actually will not move. So that's interesting for sure, because it allows players to maybe not necessarily escape a gunfight if they're just trying to flee and get out of a certain engagement that they don't really want to take. So if there's any gunfire on that platform or near the train, it will not move. So you basically have to be uncontested to be able to take that fast travel system. Now, what the area of that and what it entails, that's still up in the air right now, because we do know that there will be a little bit to these metro stations, like we said, an employee break room and some other areas that are lootable, but certainly interesting for sure. Now, in terms of maybe say players camping out the locations, that's where we have a couple of different things come up as well that are of important information. Of course, if players are going to be able to fast travel and basically teleport to another station, it's not out of the realms of possibility to think, okay, what if a team's camping here and just waiting for me to come out? That's where there's now an alternate area of exit as well. You don't have to funnel just through one location, but instead in some of the break rooms and some of the other maintenance rooms of the subway station, there are actually ladders that take you up to ground level as well. So multiple points of entry here with that, which can allow for a decent area of escape. And my favorite part here out of this is that it seems like you're not going to be able to step on the tracks whatsoever. You're going to die as if it's just the water in Warzone, instantaneous death. So you're not going to have people camping in these tunnels waiting for the trains to come, because you simply just can't do that. And as much as I'd love to maybe say search the tunnels for Easter egg material, it's probably a better call to cut them off entirely. Now, here's my initial thoughts here on this after hearing a little bit about how this works. Truth be told, I kind of like this from the sound of it. Maybe in turn, a couple of weeks down the line, I'm not a huge fan of it, but initially, I'm okay with this. My first major concerns about how this would be introduced really are kind of out of the way. They were explained in a way that I think, again, is pretty nice. Those sort of things being that people would maybe camp in the tunnels, people would be camping the main exits, players would be able to escape gunfights just by simply jumping on a train, and then having some of those lesser worked on things, maybe like the ability to travel in play, even if gas is blocking that tunnel system, that train line. That stuff has all been worked out. Camping in the tunnels, again, it got rid of that high probability of not being able to access players and maybe even forcing heal-offs late game because you won't be able to step on the tracks. The worry of escaping gunfights where they're one shot and jump on another train to just dip out of the situation entirely. If you have any gunfire near that, it won't move the train, so it forces that engagement. Fast travel is something that doesn't need you to go through the gas, again, if it is there, and of course that bypass system doesn't put you in harm's way. So I guess my really only question now is how the fast travel itself will work. Fast travel is usually just like a teleport thing in other games, where it's a pop in and out and next thing you know you're there, but I'm wondering if we'll see a cutscene at the very least to maybe add some delay here with that. But now my mind, I guess, turns to the next unknowns. And my biggest question is, what Easter eggs are we going to see with this, if any? I mean, not only just because I expect the storyline to progress as we go along, and we saw the last major map change with Stadium introduce a rather large piece to the storyline's puzzle, but also because if you look at the rail line on the Metro service map that was provided, there are multiple locations that don't really connect to anything. And the ones in the middle, I get those. That's cross platforms for the sake of continuity and of course taking an alternate route if the zone closes in on another one of the stations. But there's a handful that don't connect to anything, kind of like abandoned metro lines. So I'm wondering if we're going to be able to explore at least those and have something to do with that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, that is the new Metro system within Modern Warfare and Season 6 here, coming up in just a few short days. I'm excited to see how this works out, how it changes gameplay, and if I still like it at the very end once it's introduced. But anyways, that's where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this here? Are you looking forward to it? Maybe not so much. Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course, Black Ops Cold War, with Season 6 and the beta both rolling around here for all that. So stick it here if you're interested. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get kicked outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.